Standard form is a special way of writing a certain number. So the standard form's general formula is a multiplied by 10 to the power n. A over here represents the front number. This front number should be any number between 1 till 10. This number has to be greater than or equal to 1 but smaller than 10. It can't be 10 itself, it should be less than 10. It can be 9.99 but it can never be 10. Okay. The second thing we see over here is this part, which is a part of the general formula, and it should always be written the same. And the last part about standard form is that n over here means the power, right? The power of 10. So this power can be any integer. We use standard form to denote really small or really large number like these. This is the weight of an electron, which is really small. So we can simply write this entire number in its standard form like this. The front number is between 1 and 10 obviously, and the power is an integer as well. It's a negative integer. So we need to remember that if the power is a negative integer, that means that we're denoting a number that is relatively smaller. And when we have a really large number like this is the weight of the earth, right? So this will be denoted like this, and the power is going to be a positive integer. Now let's solve this question. Which of the following is not in its correct standard form? In question number 1, we see that the front number is a number between 1 and 10, but we see that the power is not an integer. So this number is not in its correct standard form. Now in our next question, we see that the front number should be between 1 till 10, but it is 10 itself. So this is wrong because I said that the number should not be equal to 10. It can be any number below 10. However, the power part is correct. This is an integer, but still this entire thing is not in its correct standard form as well. In part 3, we see that the front number is between 1 till 10 and the power is an integer. The last question we have is 672, which is obviously not between 1 and 10, so we can already mark this as incorrect, right? So the only correct standard form we have here is part 3. In the next question, we have to write the following in its standard form. So when the full form is a relatively larger number, we need to ensure that in our standard form, the n, this n, should be a positive integer, right? So how do we do that is that first of all we need to see where the decimal is. Obviously over here the decimal is at the last, so we need to move this decimal between 3 and 2 to bring the front number between 1 and 10. So we're going to move it towards the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, right? So we moved it 7 times towards the left. So we can write to the power 7, a positive number, and the front number is going to be 3.2. So just wrote this number. So what we did here is we wrote this number in its standard form. Now the next question is also a larger number, so we're going to do the same thing, that the power should be a positive number. So right now the decimal is over here, we're going to move it towards the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So now we have 8.9. So we moved it 10 times towards the left, so it's going to be 10 to the power 10. Now the next question we have is a relatively smaller number. So over here, we'll have to move the decimal towards the right. So we have to bring the decimal somehow between the 6 and the 3 so that our front number can be between 1 and 10. So we're going to move it towards the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So it is multiplied by 10 to the power minus 8. It's going to be a minus 8 because the full form of the number we have is a relatively smaller number, so that's why this minus is going to come here, and the front number is obviously going to be 6.3. So the next question we have here is also a relatively smaller number. So let's see what we'll do. We're going to move this decimal towards the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? We moved it 7 times towards the right. So it's going to be a -7. And the front number is going to be 9.5. Now, in this question, we're supposed to write these standard forms in their full forms. So, we need to remember that if we have a negative power, so the number we're going to get is going to be a relatively smaller number. So, we have to move this decimal towards the left. So, how we're going to do that is, first of all, we're just going to write this number as it is like this, right? Now, we have a decimal over here. This decimal is supposed to move 8 times towards the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So the decimal is going to come here and we're going to fill in the empty spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This 8th was a jump above this one, right? So now look, we're going to add an extra 0 before the decimal, and this is going to be our correct answer. Now, the next question we have has a power that is positive. So, we have a positive number, so that means that the number we're going to get in the full form is going to be a relatively larger number. So, the decimal right now is over here. So, we're going to write this number as it is. This decimal is going to move 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The decimal is going to end up here. We're going to add the zeros in these empty spaces, and we're good to go. Now, in the third question, we have a negative number. So, it's going to be a relatively smaller number. A smaller number means that the decimal is going to move towards the left. So, we're going to write the number as it is first, 0.03. And then we're going to move this decimal to 4 times, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The decimal ends up here. The empty spaces gets 0. And then before the decimal, we're going to add an extra 0. Now, in the last question, the power we have is a positive number. So that means that the number we're going to obtain is going to be a relatively larger number. So we're just going to write the number as it is. And then we're going to move this decimal 11 times towards the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. This decimal ends up here. We add the zeros in the empty spaces. And then we clean up the mess. And here's our final answer.